Hello and welcome to Scotland at the Euros Talk. I'm your host as always, Gav. Joining me today is Dave.
All right.
Reedy.
All right.
And Stuart.
All right, Gav.
Reedy, do you prefer Matt or do you prefer Reedy? What do you go by?
Go for Matt. Just stick with Matt.
Matt. I'll start with you then, Matt. How are you getting on?
Yeah, not bad. Got my blue envelope today, so that's a good day for me.
Brilliant.
Not till start of July though, so a wee bit to wait, but yeah, good day.
Good. Dave, how are you getting on?
I'm good. Here, Matt, you should see the size of the needle. Do you like needles? It's fucking that size. Mine's nearly went through the other side and everything. It was that.
Lovely.
I'm sure yours will probably be right. I don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Stuart, how are you getting on?
Yeah, really good. Cramming in a lot of work, so hopefully I can skive off on Friday. Definitely can skive off on Friday. So cramming it all in this week.
Yeah, aye. Dave, you excited about, like I say, for those who don't know me and Dave, we're heading down to London tomorrow. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, be good. Get to spend more time with Stuart. He shows about his lovely hometown. And you better not have work today. Imagine me and Gav just sitting in there in the corner where you're on your conference calls and that.
On Friday? No, I've not got any work. No, promise.
Better no.
Good man.
I'm sure we can keep ourselves busy though, Dave. We're pretty.
Well, he's got board games, so.
Aye. Plenty of board games to play. Gav, how are you getting on? I'm good. I've had a really good week. I got a new car this week. Got a really new car on Monday. It was a bit of worry because when we got it, it was Becca's birthday, so we'd headed out. We'd made dinner plans. So Becca says, go fuel up the Volkswagen, because obviously me and Dave are taking that down to London, and then only topped up before you go. And then drive to the restaurant, and if I'm a bit held up, then so be it. So I went, and then I got a phone call from Becca saying, "Oh, you'll need to come back." I'm like, "How? The car's no starting." Just spent $7,000 on a car where it's no starting. So a bit of panic, headed back, and they'd been at it. They had the engine open. They were looking at it. They couldn't find a fault. And then the guy went, "Do you have the other key?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then tried that, started straight away. The key that Becca hadn't been paired with it. So it was just the key, thankfully. But that was a worrying 30, 40 minutes, thinking we just spent all this money on a car and it wasn't working. But thankfully, just simple as the key hadn't been aligned. But yeah.
Good security feature, though.
Yeah, very nice.
Got to appreciate that.
And it was nice to know that the car got another check over, which was good. So yeah, but like I say, I've been driving that the last couple of days, which has been really nice. And Beck will be driving it when we're down in London. But I've had a really nice week. I'm really excited about London as well. So yeah, but for Scotland fans though, it's not been as nice a week with the result on Monday. So we're going to have a wee chat about that. And obviously, the main thing we'll be chatting about today is the England game on Friday. So Dave, let's start with a positive though. 12,000 fans in the stadium. We've missed fans. Great to see fans and Scotland fans back at Hampden.
Yeah, it was good. And I had a couple of mates that were there and they said it was absolutely bouncing. You've seen the videos on Twitter and that, like them all singing and jumping about, and it sounded like what you could have said that it sounded at least half full. For it to only be 12,000 there just shows you.
Yeah.
But it'll be even better when it's back to full capacity. Can you imagine if the buzz everybody's going to have when first they come back to a full stadium?
Aye. Scary to think how I'm so excited. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to the most. Is a full crowd. Like, no, don't get me wrong. Obviously, really love Scotland, but Easter Road is what I'm desperate for.
Do you think that's going to get a wee kick up the arse for everybody? So see, like teams like low attendances and that, this novelty being able to go back to the ground again. Do you think that'll make people go back and you'll see full houses everywhere for a bit?
Oh, absolutely. You'll have a 3-4 month bounce, and then people will probably get lethargic for it again and fall away. But yeah, the initial kind of boost all these clubs are going to receive is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, everybody needs to try and like keep the fans though when they get them there. Let's just say they are getting full houses and that again. They need to do something. I know ideally your team just wins all the time, but like do something match experience wise to make it like, okay, well, this is decent, good day out. I'm going to keep coming back, and it's not just like because we can again. Yeah. But anyway, yeah.
So Matt, starting with you, did you get emotional with the Flower of Scotland when the national anthem came on?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I did shed a tear, I'm not going to lie. I did. It was very emotional because it's the first time for me ever seen Scotland in a tournament, because I'm a 2001 kid, so I wasn't around in France 98. So no, it was definitely an emotional day for me, waiting all that time. But for me, I just hope it's the start of something for Scotland, starting to qualify for tournaments, not being this bogey team, mediocre, failing to qualify for things. Hopefully it's the start of something new.
Stuart, you will have more memories of 98 sorry, World Cup 98 than Matt. How did you get emotional hearing Flower of Scotland?
Yeah, absolutely. I was very fortunate to meet up with a couple of good buddies of mine that are Scottish. We had the shirts on. I put my kilts on. We went down the high street into the local pub on the massive screen. And yeah, we all stood for the national anthem and sung it at the top of our voices in the pub. And it was just absolutely fantastic. Well embraced by the locals as well. Some kind of good banter going up and down the roads. So yeah, brilliant to kind of put this 23-year hiatus that we've had behind us. And as Matt said, we've got a lot of good young players coming through here. There's no reason why we shouldn't be booking our places at these tournaments for years to come.
Yeah, definitely. Dave, where were you watching the game yourself?
Just watched it at my mate's house. We kind of organised it all in the morning, to be fair, because we slowly all clicked onto the fact that we were all off work or we were all taking half days or whatever. So we were like, oh, why didn't we just all gather together? So had a few drinks, felt hungover by 7 o'clock, and crab it and wishing.
I was in the morning. Yeah.
And you get that way where you're like, why did you get your hopes up? And then it felt like Hibs or again. And it's you go into kind of a shite place, but then again something happens to you. You just get yourself all built up again and fucking buzzing for Wembley.
Yeah. Matt, what were yourself? Where were you taking in the game?
It was just in the house for me myself, but I'm glad I was by myself by just my reactions, and I just think I just pissed all the neighbours off. For England Friday, again, I'll be the same. A few drinks by myself, pissing off the neighbours. So yeah, music blasting all day.
Brilliant. I was working myself. I was working till 3:30. And obviously the game was still going. I was thankfully, but I had it on at work. But it was when work finished, and the other guy came in. I was like, I'm going to stay for an extra 15 minutes today, unpaid, but just watch the end of the game. And I had my jacket on though, the way the game was going at the end, and just walked out when it finished. But yeah. But in terms of the match, like I say, Dave, start with yourself. It was a good start, to be fair. A few decent opportunities and some positive play, especially down the left-hand side.
Yeah, but we looked all right. Andy Robertson probably our biggest threat on the day, but it would have been interesting to see what it would have been like if Tierney was there. Would they have been able to bomb more forward even more? Like, almost certainly. So the biggest thing for me about Saturday, was it Saturday?
Monday.
It was Monday.
Fuck me. The biggest thing for me on Monday, I tell you I did a few beer, was I felt like when the starting lineup came out, the kind of mood changed a wee bit because everybody kind of got a wee bit more worried and a wee bit more tense. So it went from being like buzzing to being like really nervous, especially with Che Adams not starting. And I think you've seen that as the first half was progressing. Like the ball wasn't sticking up front as much. Like Christie, for me, wasn't doing enough. And Dykes was kind of isolated a wee bit, or the ball was going up to him and it was just hitting off him, and it just that was the bit that I felt it wasn't working.
Stuart, I mean, Dave mentioned Robertson there. Definitely the best chance of the first half felt to Robertson. Straight at the keeper though.
Yeah, I don't know what he tried to do, just kind of blast the top corner, make everything extremely spectacular, but what a difference that could have been. Certainly in the pub screaming at it, hit it low. Keeper's got far less chance of getting to that. But there was still a lot of positives to take from that first half. Totally agree with what Dave was saying with regards to Lyndon Dykes. I know we're going to get onto him and talking a lot more detail about him, but he's definitely somebody that needs someone up there with him to kind of get all that dirty, ugly work that he has to do, get that working well for us. And that's where we've seen the benefit from Scotland in the past. But just Christie wasn't it for me on Monday, I'm afraid.
Matt, you spoke about your neighbours hearing you and your reaction to the game. Are you able to compose yourself and give your thoughts on the first goal in a calm, composed manner?
Kind of. I mean, I think the first thing is O'Donnell is too slow out. to get to the cross. I think Steve Clark came out today and said we need to sort of relax on the criticism that O'Donnell got. I saw someone posted it. But O'Donnell is just far too slow out. I mean, don't get me wrong, the headers, it's a fantastic header. He rose the highest, can't do anything about it. But I think the defending leading up to the cross, there needs to be more done with it. It needs to be more organised.
Dave, you're kind of. I was just looking for anybody to blame and was getting annoyed at Hanley, but you kind of stood up for Hanley in terms of the specifics for the goal.
Yeah, I thought Grant Hanley was decent. In the lead up to the goal, like the first half, that he was composed at the back, wasn't panicking at all. And for the goal, like they're both attacking the ball, and the boy just gets a better leap in him. But he's a player that's went for how much through his career? Moved to somewhere for 40 million. So at the end of the day, it's a brilliant header. The problem, at the end of the day, you can lose an aerial battle and it's nobody's fault. Do you know what I mean? You're not guaranteed to win every aerial battle. The problem was letting the ball, like he had so much time to get the ball in the box. O'Donnell should have went out earlier. But even at that though, like if he had went out earlier, he probably still wouldn't have been able to stop the cross, but he'd have maybe made the guy rush it a wee bit more rather than, because the boy had ages.
Yeah.
Yeah, pin perfect cross as well because of the time he got.
Yeah.
Do you think that brings in a bigger point to bring in Patterson for the England game?
Potentially. I mean, I don't know. I think it's hard with Patterson. Obviously, he must have something if he's been, playing for getting games for Rangers. But like we spoke about, I'm sure when we were talking about the young player of the year award, he was nominated for it and he played 7 league games for Rangers. Let's not get carried away. He's still a young laddie. I know a few decent performances in Europe and stuff, but a lot of them came at right midfield as well. I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's the solution to the I think he will be in a few years' time, but I think if we're pinning our hopes in a 9 out of 10 performance, keeping somebody like Raheem Sterling or Marcus Rashford quiet, I don't think he's the answer, personally, but I might be wrong. Sure, you spoke earlier on about sort of Dykes being the partner. I think Clark sort of recognised that, brought Adams on at half time, and quite a positive start to the second half, especially from Shea Adams, and a few half chances created.
Yeah, what a difference that was, certainly in the first kind of 10 minutes of it. Came on, looked lively, looked like he wanted to be there, looked like he was wanting to play there. We're thinking, this is good. We've not sat back. We're not thinking, all right, we can try and hit them on the break or anything like that. And we were kind of going for it. And until what's coming next that we're going to talk about, things were starting to look a lot more positive.
Yeah, Dave, I mean, do you blame Henry? Do you blame Marshall? Or do you just go fair play, great hit? What's your personal thoughts on it? It's
2 out of 3 of them for me. It's fair play, great hit, and it's what is David Marshall doing that far forward? He shouldn't, I can see what Steve Clark's saying, 3 seconds after Henry hits the ball, they've scored, the ball's in the back of the net. And I get that it's bad luck and bad timing, but even if he's 10 yards further back, that doesn't go in. There's no need for him to be as far forward as he was. And that still that everybody's sharing is insane, how far forward he is.
Yeah. That image of him, like say, why does he just want to see how the game's going? Is he just want? It must be. It's only the reason he's there. It's no, he's not offering an option or anything. We're playing a back three. Defenders have got plenty of options to pass to. He's just wanting a better view of the game, and that's just ridiculous. At 36-year-old,
he's there to, if the ball goes out of the back line, he can rush out to it and get it quicker and clear it. He's trying to play that sort of high up like Manuel Neuer.
I think you're being too kind to him. I think he's just an arse wanting a better view of the game personally.
I think he's tried to, if, for example, the ball gets cleared out, then it just comes to him straight away and he gets it back in the mix quicker. Maybe keep the pressure on, because we'd started the second half really well. The chances that we had, and it did feel like it was a matter of time before we were going to score. I felt like they were under massive pressure, and then that was just like an absolute sucker punch. And for that moment on, I was like, well, that's it then. Yeah.
Matt, Dave says about that was sort of it then. Do you feel the team kind of felt that way? I mean, did try and create a few chances, but do you think that really sort of sucked all the momentum out of them?
Yeah, I think it was just like, as Dave said, we had quite a few good chances before they go and score, and it's just sort of like, here we go again. That's what sort of feeling it was. It was like, it's happened again. now the heads are just going to go down. But some of the lads, they did pick themselves back, and we did have some good more chances. But you just felt that it was game over after the second win. And I mean, I think the night before, Ukraine came back against Holland, but you just couldn't see us doing that.
Yeah. And what, I mean, sure, what's your kind of thoughts? Who do you kind of come to in terms of the blame?
I don't know. The blame, sorry, for the goal or for the... Yeah, I've got to kind of side a little bit with Marshall. What the blank are you playing in a defensive midfield role up all the way up there? But what a bloody fluky hit as well. The guy is a great striker, not taking it away from him, but how many times do you see that in a normal season that keeper's a bit off his line, I'll have a hammer and it's out for a throw-in, or that was a wee bit close. That was just absolutely perfect. It didn't take a bounce or anything. When you see it from behind the other goal, the swerve, the curve on this thing, he's just hit it absolutely perfectly. So apart from kind of head in my hands, you could almost have applauded it for that situation. But, you know, we're just on the end of an absolute freak. It's a sore one. It doesn't change anything. Poor Marshall's been turned into the meme of the tournament. We've all seen them, and I just feel heart sorry for him as well, because he's gone from hero to, not going to say zero, but definitely a point of mockery for football.
It's one of those goals that 9 times out of 10, the keeper gets back for it, hits the bar, it goes out, it goes wide, but it was just that one time, it just goes in.
Yeah. And I mean, like say Stuart said, we're going to come back to it. So let's have a chat about Lyndon Dykes. Dave, no, the best afternoon for Dykes.
Nah, I feel like we probably didn't give him any favours. I think he needs to play with Che Adams, like 100%, or Che Adams takes his place and Dykes drops out, and we play this kind of same way as we were trying to play. I just don't see the logic. I think he gave Czech Republic a few problems when we played them previously, so that's maybe why he started over Che Adams, because what if you've got maybe getting into their heads a wee bit, but Czech Republic didn't have a full team when we played them last time, so they had a lot of COVID issues, didn't they?
Yeah. To be fair, I think that maybe played into my thinking of, we've actually got a really good chance here. But I'll be honest, I completely forgot about that.
But come on, let's be honest, we're missing the second biggest gutting point of the afternoon when we're seeing these chances getting spurred up front. They turn to Lee Griffiths in the stand in his lovely Stone Island jacket, looking as pissed off as the rest of us. Yeah. And you're sitting there thinking, all right, Lee's not played a hell of a lot of games out there, but he's still got a decent number of minutes under his belt, and give me an 80% Lee Griffiths for the last 20 minutes of a game. He's burying some of those chances that we had. And that comes down to Steve Clarke's selection, which is what we said earlier about kind of look what team we were putting out there. Lee Griffiths was always going to be a miss if we had a game where we weren't as hot up front, and it was going to come round to bite him.
I'd reached out to my living mate who is, obviously seen quite a lot of Lyndon Dykes and kind of got his opinion on Dykes' performance. And obviously he's admitted that he's biased towards him, but he says, he needs a partner, or he needs to be in a 4-2-3-1 like he was at Livy with people around him, the wingers and the attacking midfield are getting close to him. His biggest strengths are kind of short passing and pulling defenders away, giving midfielders, runners and more space. Like his last year at Livy, he scored 10, but Pittman got 7, Lawless got 9, and Sibbald and Suda got 5. So the players around him were scoring more goals with him around him. Punting the ball long term is never going to work at international level. And also mentioned about Stephen Dobby's record with him beside him and then without him beside him. It's kind of Charlie Adams, I think, had a good year at QPR beside him as well. So he's definitely somebody that benefits with either a partner or the sort of attacking four or the three, behind him, getting close to him. So there was, to be fair to him, there was a lot of long balls towards him, and if that's not his strength, then it's not going to suit him.
Yeah, of course not. And yeah, great insight from your Livy mate there as well. He's done it over a number of seasons. He has moved for big money. There's a reason for that. We kind of do have to play to our best players' strengths. Okay, you can't play to everybody's strengths. That would be impossible. But hearing that type of thing, that the long ball up to him isn't working. God, how many did he receive? And he was there. He was getting involved. He was getting in the mix. He never put the heat down or anything like that. But of course, it got to affect him in that afternoon when he was having such a frustrating one.
Yeah, definitely. On the Czech Republic game, Matt, do you feel that was must win?
Yep. Yeah, I don't. I mean, you look at our other teams. I mean, Croatia against England weren't the best, but then again, we know England are a strong team. There is no hiding it. So they didn't perform to their best. We could have a chance against Croatia, but I think when you look at the must-win category, Czech Republic was in there, and we should have been taking max points against them.
Yeah. And like I say, England a good team. They're up next, Dave. Your initial thoughts of how you're feeling going into the England game after seeing England and seeing Scotland?
Well, I don't think England were anything special. I think they're quite boring, to be honest with you. With the attacking players they've got, they're dead sideways passing. Southgate's quite negative. Somebody, I think it was Callum in our chat, says that he thinks Southgate and Clark are actually quite similar. But I think it gives me the fear a wee bit when I think about like some of the attacking players that they have got, and if they just turn on that wee bit of magic, then I think we're fucked. If I'm being honest with you. But what do I think? You asking my prediction now, or doing that in a bit?
We'll do that in a bit. Aye.
Cool. That's all I've got to say then.
Well, I actually went up to Wembley on Sunday thinking, it'll be a brilliant atmosphere. Went wearing my 91 to 93 lovely yellow and pink Scotland away shirt, things like that. Again, a wee bit of banner. It was like a bloody library going up to Wembley. You came out the train station, you saw the arches, the sun was basking it. I know I'm going to have to hand in my supporters badge to the Tartan Army. Wembley is a phenomenal stadium. It's a great walk up. It's night and day from coming out of Mount Florida, I've got to be honest. But what a shout of boring bastards. Honestly, there was a couple of boys with vuvuzela type things, and that was it. And there was no build-up. There was no kind of, come on, we're in a major tournament. We're in our home country. You weren't even hearing it's coming home or anything like that from them. It was just so monotonous. And then they played like that as well. If we can come out the traps, honestly, I wasn't impressed with England watching them on Sunday. We know obviously the talent they've got, but these boys as individuals never turn it on for England. Never.
Matt, did you watch the game yourself? And do you see them playing the same way against Scotland, or do you think they'll be a bit more direct?
I think they're going to target us a lot more and try and pin us back. I did watch the game. I mean, there is no question their qualities, and it is going to be a tough game for us. But I think it's weird because we're going to up our game as well. So it's one of these games you just cannot predict what's going to happen with Scotland. I mean, we get beat 2-0 off Czech Republic. To be honest, we're probably going to go and win like 3-0 against England. That's the sort of team we are. It's probably going to happen.
You heard it, folks. Get your money on 3-0.
No, but
that's two people predicted 3-0. You and Stephen. You didn't want to be agreeing with Stephen with much in life.
But he'll be there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like Stephen, but God, I hate him.
What were you saying there, Matt, about England as well? You had more there.
No, I was saying that this is a sort of game we will turn up for, but it's just like how much England will turn up for it as well. Because I've got a few English friends, and they're saying that this will probably be England's hardest game for us because they'll see Scotland performing at their highest as well. So I think both teams are going to raise their game really, and it's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, Dave, is there a possibility we could turn it into a derby kind of atmosphere and kind of, that whole thing about form goes out the window and just, this whoever kind of wants to win the fight more in derbies?
Yeah, it should be that. I think we'll need to see more for McTominay and McGinn. Thought they were dead quiet as well. They were kind of marked out the game, weren't they? And I really want McGinn to put that fucking Phillips in his place. Like, everybody's going on about Phillips and that. And I'm like, McGinn's twice the player, man. See, if McGinn was English, they'd never shut up about him.
They were calling him bloody Pirlo down here.
Oh.
And you're like, what?
He did play well.
He played well. Yeah. But exactly bloody Pirlo.
But like you say, there was a lot of safe Barry Ferguson side passes. Like they were saying about his pass accuracy and stuff. And don't get me wrong, a fantastic ball for the goal. But I think England were very much like I would say I'd done a video thing for BT Sport. Watch BT Sports Scotland thing. I'll be on that. I'm everywhere. They were saying about the fact that they were playing safe, but they were picking their moments and then like getting the odd chance off the back of it. I don't think they'll play that way against Scotland. I think they'll be a lot more direct. They'll go for it more. They'll take more chances. I think they were a bit respectful to Croatia. I have, like Dave says, I've seen England play a lot like that. Very safe and sort of ball retention. But I think they will be trying to cut us open a lot more, and it's just about trying to utilise that back five and keep them quiet. Stuart, do you see the Scotland fullbacks being pinned back? Obviously, we spoke about potentially Patterson or O'Donnell, but whoever plays, do you think they'll be pinned back a bit more? Robertson in particular?
Yeah, we are in for a busy, tough time. However much I was just slagging England there, things like that, they are full of quality. They are definitely going to have the majority of the ball, the majority of the chances. We just have to be more deadly up front. Hopefully, we've got to have Tierney fit. That's going to be a big one for us. And you've got to remember, quite a lot of the Scotland team do play at a very high level in the top of England as well. So these guys are going to be well up for it. They're going to know their compadres or teammates, their opposition a little bit better than kind of previous meetings as well. So we should be well up for it. But yeah, we're in for a busy afternoon.
Yeah, man.
Evening, sorry.
We spoke about earlier on about Robertson's kind of maybe not being able to get forward as much. Tierney would be a massive part in terms of how we could change to that back four, and Robertson could really be an attacking threat.
Yeah, I think we saw it against Holland, Netherlands, whatever they're called, in the friendly warm-up. The overlap from Tierney and Robertson was really effective, and I think we really did miss that against Czech Republic. It was just something that's worked. I mean, we've been crying out for ages for like someone that can play that sort of position as well, because we've been playing, or not playing that, but working in that sort of system, because we've been playing Tierney out right fullback and he just wasn't good there. So it's good that we've got a system where we can fit both in and get them both working together. Yeah,
obviously it's still a bit unclear whether he'll play or not, but I think it'd be massive if he does get in. Dave, I mean, we spoke about Dykes and a partner. One, would you go with Dykes, and who would you partner him with?
If you play him, Che Adams, but I don't know. I don't know how we'll set up. I think Gary Neville was talking about it on telly. He thinks if Scotland even remotely go for it, that'll suit England. So it just depends how positive Steve Clarke wants to be.
There's your answer.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've no idea what's the best system. That in an ideal world, I would play Che Adams and Dykes. So,
Stuart, we've seen Ryan Fraser used as part of the two in sort of like in the 5-3-2. Is he an option in terms of maybe if we're going to have to be hitting England on the counter attack?
Yeah, certainly he's done it at his clubs, hasn't he? I'm quite a fan of Ryan Fraser. I know not everybody else out there is, but he offers something a bit different. So, yeah, just why not? I stand by, if it's a positive performance and we go attacking them, even if we don't win, we're going to feel a lot more positive than what we're sitting here reviewing the previous game. We just need to do something. I'm not wanting to sit back here and say, all right, this is our first chance to hit the old enemy since 96 when Matt was
-5,
minus
something like that.
There you go. So let's kind of get out there and let's get into them.
We've spoken about Scotland players that are potentially coming back. Matt, it doesn't look like Harry Maguire will be back. Personally, I'm a big fan of Harry Maguire. I don't know about you guys. Do you think with Mings and Stones, there's an opportunity to is that where the England are weakest and where we could potentially hurt them?
I think so. I think that's another reason we need to go to two up top instead of playing the striker and then Christie off. And I think if we can attack their central centre-back as well, with Walker as well, he's going to be pushing very high up the park as well. So I think if we go with the two strikers, we can really get in behind their two centre-backs, because I think Mings as well, I don't really rate Mings. So I think that is one area we really need to target.
Dave, what about yourself? Where can we hurt England?
I agree. I think that's probably their weakest part, and goalkeeper.
Pickford.
I would have a few pings outside the box, and that's where the likes of McGinn, McTominay can hit a ball too, by the way, and that comes into play. So I would encourage that quite a lot.
I actually
No Jack Henry though.
no. I watch quite a lot of Everton games. A good buddy down here is a big Everton fan. Got a bit of a soft spot for them. The amount of times you're watching Pickford and you're just not convinced by him. It's the Tyrannosaurus Rex arms. He's no tall enough. He's not always the quickest as well. God, let's just go at them, honestly. I know I keep saying that, but let's just make this opportunity count, guys.
We didn't want to go out in a whimper. Like if we just turn up to Wembley, didn't play well, get beat like 3-0 or something, and then that's just like, well, that's tournament over, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aye.
So,
on that, Stuart, I'll start with yourself. Do we need to get a point for any hope of progression?
Yeah, minimum a point. Obviously, we're dreaming of all three, but a point. Take the Croatians to Hampden. Who knows? But to get one of these third place playoffs, we need at least a point on Friday.
Dave, if we do get a point, do we start to have false hope and start to believe that we're going to beat Croatia at Hampden? And should we maybe think like that?
yeah, that'll happen, and then our hopes will be crushed. Just the way football life goes, isn't it? Like I'm not convinced that there's happiness in football.
We're still hurting from May.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. But yeah, 100% need a point. 3 to me is unrealistic. I just can't see it happening. I think a battling point, I'd be over the moon with a battling point.
This is just so similar, though, to France 98. Matt, sit down, I'll tell you a story. Yeah. It is the loss in the first game, getting the point against Norway in the second one, and then going into the last one thinking, yes, mathematically possible, Scotland can still qualify. There we go. There's a phrase from back in the day. And then, obviously, we're not going to talk about what happened in the third game against Morocco, but it does kind of have that same type of feel to it. So just hope the boys are up for it.
It might play a part in terms of how the group unfolds. Dave, I'll start with yourself. How do you see the other game in the group going? Czech Republic, Croatia.
I think Croatia will win, but I'm not going to lie, I'm rooting on Czech Republic because I'd rather Croatia just on nil par coming into the game at Hampden with us, and then that's a straight shootout between them and us. That's what I'd prefer. If Croatia win and then they are both on 3 points and then we get beat, then we're probably bottom of the group goal difference.
Does it come down to goal difference or head to head?
Now you're asking.
Yeah, probably goal difference, I would think.
It's probably goal difference, and then it'll be head to head if things are equal.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
So yeah, Matt, how do you see the Croatia Czech Republic game going?
It's a tough one to call. What would best for us? You'd probably say Czech Republic, so then we have got a wee bit of a chance against Croatia in that final game. But just from what you were saying before, if we do end up getting a point against England, the buzz going into that game against Croatia at Hampden, it's just going to be excellent. The lead up to it will just be class, and that's what we need. We just need something to give us a wee bit of hope. But then, us also being Hibs fans, we know what happens with hope in football.
Stuart, so let's go through the predictions for the Scotland game. What's your predictions for the Scotland England game?
Are we allowed to do a heart and a head one?
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do a heart and a head.
Thank God. The heart's telling me we are going to do it. We are going to shock the world. We are going to win 1-0 in the spawniest game at all time. But by God, I'll take it. Head, if you were giving me a tenner, I'm going to say 1-1.
Matt?
Heart says 3-0 Scotland, Nisbet hat trick, and head says 2-2.
Dave?
Fucking hell, I'm going to say...
I know you're going to be a lot more similar to myself.
Oh, dearie me. So, my heart saying 1 each. I think that's probably the best outcome that I can even dream of. I think I'm deluded if I think otherwise, and I'm lying to myself. And my head says they'll beat us 3-0.
Yeah. I was going to go heart 2-1 Scotland and head 3-0 England. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I even put that in my predictor because I thought
it's on my predictor as well.
I was getting a lot of stick for it when I thought I put Scotland to lose the first game, but I was like, well, if I get it right, I get points and it's a consolation. I know no one else was going for it. Everyone was going for a Scotland win. So, and it worked out. So,
Yeah, we were all really happy for you, Gav.
Aye, Gav, well
Thanks.
done.
I know. Catching up with you, Dave. You were like running away with the predictor now, crawling it back. But yeah, long way to go. So anything else in terms of the Scotland England games you want to touch on that I might have missed? No, done the score prediction.
I just really want to have a nice time, and for me to have a really nice time, like a really, really nice time, we need a result. But I still think I'm going to have a good time regardless.
I think it's an amazing job that the media do for encouraging you to hate England, because there's a lot of players in the team that I like. You know, I really like Rashford. I like Maguire. There's a lot of other players for other teams, like Sancho's a really exciting player. Harry Kane is a great striker to watch. Big ball greedy, but it works for him. So that's actually, I don't actually dislike the players that much, but the media, like, as much as he makes some good points, that Simon Jordan on TalkSport was saying a couple of weeks ago, and it's like he's not even giving Scotland a sniff, and just so disrespectful. And just, you know, there's so much of it. You just watch that and you go, ugh. So yeah, they help you hate England. Stuart, I mean, you live down there. It must be how are they?
Oh yeah, I'm a pilgrim in an unholy lands, mate. I don't know if I was that offended by the Simon Jordan stuff, because on the flip side of that coin, it really annoys me when the English say, "Oh, I just want all the home nations to do really well." No, fuck off. I'm not saying it in return to you. I hope you get pumped.
Yeah.
Full stop. I don't care if you're playing Scotland or whatever. I'm always going to say that. But yeah, we've not quite got the normal tournament buzz, whether it's because you're hearing less people with tickets. If you go to a bar, there's obviously, you're not getting the mass kind of influx of people. They all have to be tables. It's all table service, things like that. So there's really not as big a bounce going about as what you would normally have. I was here for the last World Cup, and God, they were going absolutely mental for it. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely do agree with your point, though, that the media make them very easy to dislike.
I was scrolling through Facebook today and came across a video. It was like, you know, like a Great Britain song. I can't remember which one, but it had like Great Britain in the titles, and it was photos of all the English players when they were younger, and it's like, can't believe these lads are bringing it home. And they're so ahead of themselves. I don't think they've watched enough for France. But yeah. So what have you guys got planned for this evening? I mean, I was hoping to be done for 5. We're running it late. He's watching the Wales game.
Yeah, I've just pulled up just now. Pulled up.
Is that everyone else's plans for this evening?
Yeah, watch a bit of football. I'm actually going to go and play a wee bit of bowls.
Nice.
Yes, yeah.
Nice sunny day for it. Good stuff.
Aye, the weather's all right, yeah. So, wee bit of bowls, and then might even have a wee pint, and then a wee warm up. Back, watch the football.
What's the 8 o'clock game tonight? This is also folk are, or this, by the time they're listening to this podcast, it'll probably be done. But what's the game tonight?
Italy, Switzerland, is it?
Oof, good one as well.
I think. No, don't quote me on that.
Yeah. Switzerland there.
Yeah. How have you enjoyed the Euros so far?
Some decent games.
Really has been. Obviously, kind of the wind was massively knocked out all of our sails last Saturday night. Watching Finland-Denmark, that was just unbelievable. And however much we've spent the best part of 40 minutes whinging about Scotland, there are bigger things out there. And it's obviously great to see the pictures. Christian Eriksen in his bed with a thumbs up. He's all right here now, which was fantastic. I was sitting with a good buddy of mine, Dave, who's an England and Arsenal fan, and both of us were just sat there dumbfounded. We didn't know what to do, things like that. Watching this probably controversial or questionable coverage the BBC were pumping out again for it, and yeah, so there are bigger things out there. But ask me that at 5 to 8 on Friday night, and I don't know if I'll say the same thing.
I great to see those photos. Great to see I'm doing much better. So so if there's any Scotland fans that are kind of non-Hibs fans that are listening, thank you very much for finding us. But obviously we are kind of doing this as a temporary thing. We're at Hibs Talk, so we'll finish up with a brief chat about the Europa Conference draw for Hibs. Does anyone want to take a stab at pronouncing them before I butcher them?
No, and you go. No, I would quite.
I believe in you, Gav. Let's get the dyslexic guy shouting this out. Good stuff.
Mons Calpe and Santa Coloma.
That'll do.
Yeah, that's a good effort.
Okay. And of course, Andorra and Gibraltar, they're both form respectively. Dave, your kind of reaction to the draw, and of course the other teams we could have been drawn against?
Yeah, easiest draw we could have got. So, feck it. Going to show absolutely no respect to those teams. Never heard of them, and we will hammer them, and we will rock on to the next round.
Matt, your thoughts?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, as much as we are confident, I don't think we can get too ahead of ourselves just looking at what happened with Kilmarnock a few seasons back. But
True.
let's be honest, we really should be beating them, whoever it is.
Yeah. Stuart?
Just a little bit of insight for Dave and Gav. The fourth Scotland fan who's joining us is originally a family from Gibraltar. So he'll be able to give us quite a bit more insight into Mons. But in brief conversation with him today, he kind of said, yeah, they're the easiest team we could have faced from Gibraltar. They are the worst of our European representatives. If they get through, we will be absolutely fine. And boy watches a lot of Scottish football, so
Nice.
Let's hope a wee trip to Gibraltar we're not allowed to go on.
If they win the tie, I'll remind you that, and we'll get him on the podcast and get his thoughts in a bit more detail. So yeah,
fantastic.
for that.
I thought you were going to say you were going to pay for the flights to Gibraltar.
I did have a wee check today. Flying from London, 70 quid return. I'm like,
Wow, that'll go up.
tempting. Oh, I will go up, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they've said that no away fans at all for any of the ties. So for any of the qualifying rounds, which I get, you've got to keep it fair, just across the board. Can't have some have it and some not. So it'll be interesting to see if some fans go over, whether Hibs encouraging fans not to go. But to me, I'm just going to kind of try and save up for hopefully the group stages where we can actually go into the grounds when we get over there and stuff. But
You're saying keep it fair. There were 60,000 or 67,000 watching Turkey and Budapest, but then you're only allowed 12,000 at Hampden. So
How good did that look? Just a full stadium, by the way. It looked amazing.
it was class.
that was because they've
The
got
hungry game
organised
as well.
politicians,
That was
and they were
something
able to get everyone there was double vaccinated.
Yeah, but you're saying keep it fair. Like at the end of the day, if a country should be able to accommodate fans, and they should be able to accommodate fans. If UEFA are saying a blanket rule, then surely it'll be a blanket rule for a major tournament as well.
It's a good point. Good point. Fair play. That kind of completely ruins my argument. Thanks for that, Dave. But yeah, so we're going to wrap up there. We will, unless we're really, really hungover, the plan is to kind of do a brief review of the England game Saturday morning before going
Christ,
into more
I
drinking.
told you not to promise this.
I know.
Jesus.
And
Nobody told me this. Where are you recording this?
yours, hopefully.
Matters, aye.
We've done a podcast in person, but yeah, that's the plan. Don't hold us to it, like Dave says. We're planning on doing a lot of drinking on Friday, so we'll get one out regardless at some point. It might be Sunday evening if it's not when we come back. But yeah, I don't want to do it after a long drive, so we'll try and get out Saturday. But
It might be even more fun. We do it like half hungover, half still wrecked from the night before.
Just do it
Yeah.
Friday night after the game. Just do it straight after.
Oh, that'd be phenomenal.
that a drunk podcast could be fun. Dave's shaking his head, absolutely disagrees. But yeah,
Gavin on the beep button. The editing suite.
but yeah, you can follow us at HFC Talk. Enjoy the Scotland game on Friday. Let's believe. Let's. I know it's ridiculous looking for even just a draw, but let's believe. Let's hope we can follow our hearts and get a win. Why not? But yeah. So yeah, thank you very much. Follow us all the places, and we'll be back at some point, but we'll not promise when, Dave.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Catch.
Cheers,
Cheers.
Gav.